group introduces currency for proposed Yoruba nation. A group agitating for the independence of the Yoruba nation on Twitter has introduced the currency for the proposed Yoruba nation Oduduwa Republic. The group posted the image of the proposed currency on its Twitter handle at Oduduwa Republic on Sunday, and the tweet reads, Oduduwa national currency shall be called Fadaka, meaning silver, or short as just FAD. Here is a 20 Fadaka sample bank note. Sahara reporters earlier reported how Yoruba historian Banji Akintoye, alongside freedom fighter Sunday Igboho, declared the sovereignty of the Yoruba nation recently. Akintoye and Igboho, among other Yoruba leaders, stated that the Yoruba nation can be independent and yet thrive. Professor Akintoye said the most important thing for the Yoruba nation is to learn to work towards sovereignty. According to him, this is not the time to discuss issues surrounding restructuring, resource control, or a new constitution, but rather to succeed from Nigeria. He urged all Yoruba patriots to work together for the independence of the Yoruba nation, urging the young ones not to involve violence but peaceful deliberations. We have decided that the sovereignty now, but we have declared that sovereignty now, but we must work together. We have just talked about what the Yoruba nation is suffering in Nigeria. There should be no reason why we cannot all work together to extricate ourselves from this rubble that Nigeria has become. My advice to young people is to gather together, speak to leaders hesitating about Nigeria. There is no reason for any Yoruba person to be talking about restructuring or new constitution or resource control. The game is up. We have seen enough of Nigeria. We have decided our status in the world today. We have moved forward. Let us move smoothly without any violence. Don't fight anyone. There should be no war. We are going to have a separate Yoruba conference soon. Igboho also said that the southwest states were no longer under Nigeria. He urged Yoruba people living in other parts of the country to return to the southwest. Are you joking? He said, all the Yoruba youth in the land support our father. We are in support because we know that these are our real fathers who understand that we are fighting for our rights against people that are disturbing us on our land. If we meet any Fulani herdsman, we are ready to face and destroy them. Starting from now, if any policeman attacks us for that, we are ready for them. Whoa. This just shows how deteriorated we are. Like, it's so funny. It really is so funny. We are ready to challenge a country that has nothing for the Yoruba people. We are taking back our territory. I meet with 5-year-old, 6-year-old children that have no fathers, mothers, nothing. These children are smoking. This country is finished. We do not want Nigeria again. We want the Yoruba nation. We don't fear anybody. We fear only God. Enough is enough. Obviously he goes into more, and I think that what really needs to happen, I think for these individual countries to try, including Biafra and, the Oduduwa nation, if there is, we need to restructure our society and our thinking. Because at the end of the day, mentally, we still are all very Nigerian in terms of our lack of societal values. I mean, I guess maybe for each region, the tribe and the tradition would very much influence the society that they do have. But you have to understand that mentally we've all been shaped to be Nigerians, and so if we're going to separate and we still continue like this as a people where we do not hold people accountable, the greed is high, accountability is zero. So even if you're gonna commit an atrocity, do you necessarily get punished as you should? And there's no politics as to where you come from and your connections. I mean, these are the things that we need to ask, because if we do not change these things and structurally go through some mind evaluations or whatever, I just think that it would be Nigerian part 1, part 2, part 3, because except, they go into a contract where, okay, fine, they're going to have a new constitution or on how they rule their country. However, they enforce that. And the people are like, you know what, we're going to agree that going forward, this is what we stand by. Because or else, it's not going to amount to anything. And to be honest, I don't know. I think that the excitement and the currency, like, the nation has not yet been established. I think these the topic of currency and all that, I think it should be later. I mean, not later, but in the woodworks, if it happens. or when it happens. But doing that now, it just seems like you're overly excited, all this, all that, all that. Because at the end of the day, the way the country came to agree to be Nigeria is the same way I believe that we're gonna have to separate. Because even when we do divide, we'd rather, you know, divide on good terms with a bad history than a bad history on bad terms, and then we have no deal with each other, you know, and it just gets messy, you know. And I think the biggest thing is, in the world there are greedy people everywhere, in every economy, even in first world countries. There are people that are greedy. Corruption is there. It is there. I think right now we just have to make a whole system that works for us, and we can agree that it's going to work for us. If they decide that, you know what, we're not going to have a democracy data, or they use the traditional methods where, you know, instead of a court, they'd have, you know, instead of swearing by a Bible or this, they'd swear by their traditional whatever, that is absolutely fine. But in terms of leadership, corruption, and accountability, that needs to be taken care of 100%, or else this is just all useless. But I feel like right now, for the thing is for us to leave. So how do people leave? So it's like, are we gonna go back to 1960 and be like, so what was the contract and what was the terms of getting our independence? Because again, you think it's not that easy. It's never that easy. We need to go back and bring out all the old paperwork that we've just put to the side, and then we'd understand what actually is going on, and maybe we'll have an insight to how and why the country is extremely corrupt. I mean, it just is what it is. Let's go and see the reactions that are here. One of the reactions here says, long live Oduduwa Republic. Another person says, that's nasty. Nigeria is gone for life. If Yoruba nation and Biafra nation comes, Africa will be respected, because those two nations will be in competition and will become world powers in a short while. You know what? I'm not going to dispute that. But what was actually nasty was the picture that was put there. So the person put feces. Yes, that's the official word. I'm not going to use the other word because YouTube is sensitive. And then put the Nigerian flag on top of the feces, and there's flies around it. That's low. But that's how the country is, to be honest. There's a graphical representation of what the country encapsulates in one picture. It's that. Someone here says, our founding fathers will continue to be angry with Buhari wherever he is. Absolutely. Someone says their eyes are now clear. The disintegration of Nigeria is very near. I am very excited because I feel that, you know, we would, to a large extent, we would have a space for us to be at our fullest of expressions. And yeah, I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping now, because we're still Nigerians at the end of the day, even if we've divided, because we've been mentally conditioned to live in such abnormality. I hope that when we get to a new start, that routine of living and thinking in an abnormal way, especially in our daily activities, does not reek and infiltrate into the new beginning of what is going to come. But I think it's going to be hard. I think us disintegrating is going to be so interesting and so fun. Why? Because a lot of third parties will be exposed, and that is the fun of it all. People will be exposed, and I think this is when Nigerians say, oh, your eyes are now clear, this is the moment, because questions as to, you know, the foundations of Nigeria itself, the corruption, who is funding certain things, who is benefiting from Nigerian corruption and all that, they'll be brought to the limelight. And yeah, I'm just very excited for the new future. But again, in mind, we have to understand that we if I'm speaking the future, we right now as ex-Nigerians are going to go into a new phase of Biafra or Oduduwa or whatever. Our mentalities are still the same, and we have to keep in mind that we have to make a conscious effort to try stop some certain habits that are toxic and are self-sabotaging. That's what I have to say. Put what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you believe that, you know, thinking of the currency of the new Oduduwa nation is a bit too early? Put what you think, and do not forget to like and subscribe.